Hello everybody and welcome to another episode on X4. Today we're going to be talking about the UI. Got a lot of questions about this one, so I figured that I'd do a little bit about it. I've covered it a little bit in some of my videos, but today we're going to go through the whole thing and hopefully you'll be able to find what you need to find moving forward. So, first things first, your top bars here. Now, when you're viewing this menu, you're not paused. However, if you want to pause the game, just back out of everything, and then if you go into here, it then restarts again, so just bear that in mind. So true pausing is in this menu only, really. So that's also found in options. Now if you go to your menu and press options here, you'll notice that it is no longer paused, so just bear that in mind. You want to press your escape key and your escape key again, and that gives you your game paused. Next thing you've got is, from the options menu, is the player information menu. This is everything about you personally, so anything that you want to do with yourself, your empire, your fleets, or anything like that can all be found on here. Let's go through a little bit on this, just so we can cover a few things. So the first one is the empire itself. Who you are, what organization name you are, if you've got logos, or if you want to use any of the basic ones, they're in here as well. And your default ship skin. That's obviously what colour the ships are going to be when you create them. Ships you capture will remain the same as what they were when you captured them, however these ones will change. And you can unlock these by, obviously the foundation ones I got from getting the foundation set, and then there are ones that will be rewarded through like data vaults and stuff like that. I don't really do the data vaults too much, so I haven't got many of them, and I know the online version, the beta and stuff like that, did offer some rewards. Whether that'll involve these is, well, it remains to be seen. Next thing you got is your wealth. That tells you everything about what you've got money wise, so it includes the value of your ships, value of your stations, whatever's in your inventory, and whatever cash you have available. Then you got your personnel. How many personnel you have, it's pretty self-explanatory. Your average personnel skill, and then the total personnel skill on there as well. The final one is your police authority, where when you get to doing your authority in your own sectors, that's where this all comes into play. So you can add illegal words and it'll tell you where you have authority for police, authority, like for doing police patrols and stuff like that. Your next one is your faction and relations. This is everything against you or for you, so you only have the ones that you actually know about. At the moment we've got the Antigon, the Argon, and the Riptide Rakers. Obviously Riptide Rakers 0 is basically you are neutral. You cannot see the orders of the ships belonging to this faction. You are not allowed to teleport to those stations. You can't use the pay mob theme of the faction, and this faction will not send patrol ships to areas in which your assets have been repeatedly attacked. That said, neither of these will also do it. Vigo Syndicate has just popped up into the area, so now we can now see this. Now, the difference is these are partially parity, but they're a main faction. This faction will plunder your ships if you leave it. If they can capture your ships, they will do. Back to the +5s, you'll notice that they are doing the same as what the Riptide Rakers do. So +5 doesn't really get you much, but what it does mean is they're already friendly to you, so it means that it's a lot easier to do stuff for them and not risk getting attacked by them. And then you'll start to have these open up as well, and this will change. Now this actually is where you can. So up to -10 you can actually get these. If you go below -10 you lose the ability to gain them, and then you can't buy any of the module licenses or anything like that. It'll tell you for each faction. I think they're all -10 for every faction for them, and then it'll also tell you the price of any police licenses they have. You get the Capo there, the Tiebreaker there, Hero of the Federation there. These are all ranks, and then you start getting these as well. Next one is statistics. That tells you everything you want to know about this current gameplay session. It tells you what your trade rank and your fight your trade and your fight rank are. They are ones that you gain throughout the game if you're doing like your own kind of stuff. Obviously your trade rank is how much trading you do, and your fight rank is obviously how much combat you get into. And you can get these paint mods and stuff like that. So everything's tracked for your statistics there for anybody who's interested in statistics. Next is your personal inventory. You'll notice that I've got paint mods. These are some of the rewards you get in the vaults that I was telling you about. And then you've got crafting words as well. So these are things that are in your personal inventory. They're not inside your ship. One after that is your modifications. Any modifications that you own will be in here. Obviously at this level we don't have modifications, so don't worry about that too much. We'll cover modifications at a later date. Next one is your spacesuit upgrades. Whatever your spacesuit has will be in here. Very little to start with, but you do gain more stuff later down the line. Again, we'll cover that later down the line. Global orders. This is very important when you want to start automating stuff. I know a few people have talked about automating your fleets and stuff. You can adjust every little detail. So if you want to find abandoned ship, at the moment we have it on ignore. You can have it claim if possible. So if they've got spare crew on board, they'll drop a crew member on and claim it. Ignore, mark it so that you know where it is. Protect it until somebody can claim it, and you can reset the standing of all ships for this scenario. And obviously you can have it where they notify you as well. Global attacks, you got found lockboxes, so they can try and attempt to open the lockboxes. Pirate harassment, that all your ships will attack them. If you don't want to lose your ships, you can have it where they'll comply, so the pirates will try and rob them. They'll drop their cargo and run away. Escape and drop laser towers if they have them on board. Just escape. Wait, which is very deadly because they won't do anything. And again, you can reset the standing orders for all of your global ships. Default global response to found contraband. The default for these are they'll just destroy them. You can even, if you want to be a bit of a pirate, you can have them collect, or you can just have them completely ignore them. So again, without going through all of these, there are a lot of things that you can do that will help you with your automation. So you're not doing too much in terms of manually doing stuff. Next one is your account management. As you start to get stations, you can adjust all of your stations under this one screen. You can have accept all estimates for what your account has for what they need for your in and out for your credits, and obviously you can see all of your accounts in one go. Personnel management. This is where your personnel will be. At the moment we have no personnel, so we can't see much on it. However, as you start to hire personnel, you'll get their names, where they are currently employed, their role, their rank, and their skill as well. Obviously these are the roles that they can be: a captain, a manager, a marine, a service crew, or a ship trader. Ship traders are only ones where they go into actual stations that build ships so they can then sell them. You can't sell your ships without your ship traders. Messages, so any messages that you get in the game will come in here. Transaction log. Obviously the only thing we've got at the moment is our starting balance, which was 8 minutes ago. And you have a little bit of a record here and a little bit of a graph that'll show you how your account's doing. At the moment we're stood at a flat 10k. And last but not least is your logbook. So these are the messages you receive. The logbook will log various things, and you can narrow them down as well. So you can have the general news, you can have mission related stuff, news related stuff, alerts, upkeep, tips, and the venture logbook, which is your online gameplay. Or you can have them all. And again, this will tell you anything that you pick up within range. As you can see, we've picked up from passing ships that there's an Anticon Republic station under construction in second contact flashpoint. They're mounted in defense in second contact 2 flashpoint, and they are mounted again. So you can see they're doing 2 lots of defenses there, so there's obviously something going on in second contact 2. That's great if you want to do combat, so you can figure out where things are happening. You can help out a faction, or if you can, you want to hinder them and stuff like that. So that's your player information. Next one is your dock interaction. Whenever you're in a dock, you'll have this available. You can transfer words, which means you can move things in and out of your ship if you're in one. You can buy ships if you're at a station that has the ability to buy ships. Modes, which is your scanning modes, which are obviously not available once you're docked. You can get up if you're inside your chair. You can trade, which is the actual trading of the station. This is a little bit different to transferring words. Transfer words is for your own stations. Trading is when you want to buy stuff. Go to ship. You can actually go directly to your ship. We'll just close that off. There we go. We'll go back to our dock, and you can upgrade and repair your ship if you are at a upgrade facility or an equipment facility. Next one is your map. This is the biggest UI by far. You have your object list, which lists any objects that are within view of your screen. So anything that is active, so stuff like this. If you are, say, in an area that has that, for example, you can't see anything that's happening here. So these, even though the stations are there, you can't see any of the ships. You can see the stations but not the ships, because the stations are obviously there. Again, if I move over here, you can see the equipment docks there. If I start zooming in, once they're visible on my screen, they start to populate these here. But obviously, as they move away, as you can see here, they're all starting to drop off. There you go, see that. Next one is property owned. This is exclusive property to you. Whether you zoom in and zoom out, it doesn't matter. It will give you all of your property owned. You can narrow them down. Both of these screens can be narrowed down further. So you can have it where it's stations and subordinates, so it's just a station and its subordinates, any ships, and any deployables. By default, deployables aren't shown on this main screen. Property owned, again, you can do the same. Stations and subordinates, fleets, any fleets that you've got, any unassigned ships that you have, ships with inventory, which is good if you want to deploy it into your main inventory via your HQ, which we can cover later down the line, and deployables, which are your satellites. Mission offers. Any mission offers in the area will be obviously populated in here. Mission manager. So these are important missions, your guild missions and other missions. Once you've accepted them, they'll pop into here. You also have upkeep missions. For example, we need a captain. We don't have a captain. So this ship is currently unmanned completely. And then you get your guidance missions for anything that you set. So if I turn around here and I go set guidance to object, I now have a guidance mission. Information. Information about where you are. So you got general information, the name of the place you've actually selected. So if I select Black Hole Sun here, you can see it doesn't really show you that you've selected it, only from this menu here. It tells you the name, tells you who owns the sector currently, tells you what population there is on the planet, tells you what available bonus from workforces there are, and how much workforce there is, how many stations there are, and the main production that's in this area. So obviously at the moment we can only see smart chips, which is classed as ship technology, and the level of sunlight. Newer systems will have different sunlight levels, whereas the older systems are still at 100%, as you can see there. You can see Argon Prime has a planet, which is Argon Prime, and it's got 8.524 million population. And again, you got your logbook, which shows entries from anything that's in that sector, as you can see. Same as what you had for your other logbook, but it's specific to whatever grid you selected. And the final one is you manage plots, which is how you deploy stations. So again, you can see what your workforce available bonus is as you click into it, but it doesn't update until you actually specifically, like as soon as you create plot, you can see here it doesn't move it. So just bear that in mind. So the best way to do it, if you want to actually see what it all is just click on that there, for example, and then go to manage plots. It'll give you all your details there. You create a plot, you deploy the plot, and then you buy the license so you don't get attacked, and you hit continue and you can go into your station. Now the beauty of this screen is you can also do the same on this side. This is slightly different. This is basically, rather than it being the object list, it's basically the information list, as you can see, on whatever you select. The main information list. You get exactly the same on both sides. It's great if you want to do comparisons of stuff, if you want to keep your ships on one side and you want to just do stuff on the other side. So just bear that in mind, you can duplicate this information screen on both sides. You've got your filter settings. Filter settings for trade. If you've seen me do it before, you activate it. You can then select what words you want. If you don't want to select any words, it'll show you as much as it possibly can from what you can see. As you zoom in, that will get smaller. If I deselect that, you'll see it's completely small now because I'm not looking at the main station, I'm looking at the main top 4. And if I scroll here, you can see which ones belong to which. Now I don't know any other systems, so I can't really do much. I can see what these used to accept, which are just these here, but that's it. But if I click on that, it should, there we go, give me all the information I need to know, which is the bought words. So it's useful to know. You can narrow that down. If you wanted to narrow it down, you can turn around and go, let's go for scanning arrays, because that's on the top screen there. If you press OK, you can now see the scanning arrays. I'll show you scanning arrays in any sector as well. and what's available. You can also, instead of doing it by materials, you can also change what bay it is. So if I wanted to see just a liquid, you can do that. Obviously you can also set your price as well. Display trade offers up to a maximum price. So again, if I drop that down, you can see what's cheap. Minimum volume. So if there's a large volume of trade offers, so these are trade offers, not what's in their stores, but what they're offering trade wise. Again, you can buy offer, so you can buy offer all factions, yours only or others only, and same for the sell as well. And you can also even show the enemy trade offers. If you remove that, it'll hide the enemy trade offers, and you can increase up to 5 on what it actually shows you on the filter screen. You can also turn them all off by just hitting that button there. Same for mining. Mining is a little bit of an odd one because it shows resource information rather than the actual trades. You'll notice that if I just go to trade here and then select solid, I'd be able to see anywhere that has ore anyway. It doesn't really specify trade filters for mining really. And the other filter, you can adjust things. So you can remove your gate connections, you can remove section lines, you can remove wrecks, you can remove the ecliptic lines. Any satellite coverage you can remove. If you're not seeing satellite coverage, check that, make sure it is. You can also change how opaque the background is as well, which is kind of cool. You can show your orders, you can show your allied orders, and mission offers and civilian ships. So that's the 3 filters there. Obviously, when it's got a big circle with a cross on it, it means you've disabled it. If I turn the mining one on, it shows resource information, which is absolutely useless, really. What's this? Acquire captain, upkeep mission. Have I changed something on here? Highlight visitors. So yeah, so hopefully that'll help. If any of this is struggling, you can also hit the legend key. The legend key shows you everything that will be on the map and what they all mean. Accepted missions. There you go, there's one there, because we've obviously accepted it because we're doing it. So yeah, so the legend will show you everything you need to know. It shows you even like the different connections and stuff like that. You can see that this is a super highway because it's a dark blue. And then if we saw another one, it'd be another one. Jump gate connection is white because if you hover over it, it turns white. Your jump gate is that image there. Accelerator is one with a gap in the top of it, and the super highway gate is one with the arrow inside. So really useful for that legend. The final thing really, I mean, tutorials can help. We'll show you your tutorials. If you want to do the HOTAS, you can have a look at the tutorial for that. You can also have external resources as well, which is the official Egosoft resources. But that's really here or there. And the final one is obviously Encyclopedia, which you can pull information out. You can also see the timeline as well. And finally, you can see the ship comparison, where you can add your own ship designs from what you know, what you've seen. So we've seen a Mammoth Vanguard builder, so we can actually set that up. That's all we know, because we haven't got any information on what the modules are themselves. We haven't scanned them or anything like that. Large ships, we've only seen them. Medium ships, we've only got these ones here, because we have access to most of these. But you can compare one ship to another. You can also compare one loadout to another. Small, Guillemot, which was the first one. We had high presets. If we do medium preset, you can see the comparison between the two, which actually isn't much, because the high and the medium, we haven't got much in the way of anything anyway, so they're pretty low. But you can see the comparisons there. So yeah, that's the UI. The only other option, the only other thing really, is when you're in your ship, which everything is done by your mouse click, and then obviously you get your modes there, and obviously if you hover over them, it also gives you your shortcut keys as well. So yeah, so if you want to know any more intricates, then if you haven't already seen episode 1, then make sure you check out episode 1, where I go through what each of the actual heads-up display does or anything like that. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you've got any comments or anything like that, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. and I'll get back to you on anything at all, even if it's a question about something related to X4 but not quite related to this video. Then just leave it in the comment section below and we'll get back to it. But until next time, everybody, take care for now. Let's see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.